Okay, here's my mama again, and she's going to talk about being in school and some of the things that she experienced. So, when did you start school? Where were you?
I was at my grandmother's and grandfather's. I started school when I was 7 years old. I'd go to school, come home with my grandmother and grandfather's house. Then I would have to go and gather eggs out for my grandmother while my grandmother milked the cow. Then we come in and my grandmother would drain the butter, the milk for it to make butter.
She would churn it.
Yeah, and I churn it. And so we done that, and then I stayed with my grandmother and grandfather maybe about 6 months, and then my mother would come pick me up, take me to Arizona, take me to Mexico, take me to Dallas, whatever, to not go to school. I guess she never did tell me. And so I sat at school wherever I was with my mother. And then I had to come back and stay with my mother and no, my grandmother and my grandfather.
Do you remember any of the schools that you went to? Like did you go to Leary?
Yes, I did. I went to Larry, and then I went to Dallas Elementary School in Dallas, Texas. And then I went to an El Paso school in El Paso, Texas. I don't remember the name of El Paso. And then I went to Hobbs, New Mexico. I went to school out there. I did not get a education whatsoever because my mother moved me around so much. I didn't get time to have an education. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even get a high school education or a college degree education. But you know what? I look at it this way. The good Lord helped me through all of that. And the good Lord gave me common sense. If you don't have common sense, and if you don't have horse sense, you ain't got nothing.
That is very true. Now, when you went to Leary, Liberty Isle, and all around there, right? Um, Whenever you were in school, what type of classes were you in?
I was in Miss Lumsey's class. That was my first school teacher. And then I went from that to the sixth class. And I got up to the sixth class, and they told me, they told my mother came to pick me up, put me someplace else. They told my mother, said, your daughter's dumb.
Oh,
So it made mother mad. She take me out, and here we go again.
were you in special ed classes, or did they not have special ed classes back then?
They didn't have it.
Okay, they didn't have it.
They didn't have nothing like they do now.
So how far did you get in school?
I got, well, I went down to Larry. Then I went from Larry down to Linden, Texas.
But I mean, what grade did you get to?
I just got to the eighth.
The eighth grade. Okay. So when you were in the eighth grade, what school were you at?
Linden, Kildare.
Linden Kildare. Okay. I said Liberty Allo. I meant Linden Kildare. Okay. So when you left the eighth grade, was that your choice to quit going to school? Or was that somebody else's choice?
It was my choice because the kids made fun at me because I had a speech problem, and I went home from school that day, and I told my mother, I said, Mother, I am not going back to school. And she said, why not? I said, because the kids made fun at me. I said, my push, and they laughed at me.
Did they make fun? Was that the only time they made fun of you, or had they made fun of you over the years?
That was the only time they made fun at me at Linden, Kildare.
But I mean at the other schools.
Yeah, Dallas, just all the schools except
Yeah.
Larry.
So when you left school, did you go to work right away?
After I got out of school, I had to wait until I became 18 years old to go to school. I mean, to go to work.
So what did you do? How did you spend your time?
Okay, I went to the nursing home, and there's old people there, and I asked the head nurse, could I get, could I bring the patients some candy? And she said, yes, you can, but make sure they're not diabetic. So I got me a whole bunch of candy cushy bars. I
Mm-hmm.
gave each one of them some candy that's not a diabetic. I done that. I went there every Saturday and done that.
You started taking care of people when you were really young, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Very young.
And when did you decide that you wanted to go into nursing?
Yep. I told them that I worked at the nursing home when I got old enough. I worked at the nursing home for 2.5 years. And then I went from the nursing home to the hospital.
And you were a nurse's aide?
And I got my practical nurse's license there
Uh-huh.
at the hospital.
It was just hands-on training. You didn't have to go to school for that?
Do I?
It was just hands-on training. You didn't have to go to school for that?
That's right.
Okay.
And I,
What were some of the things you did in that job?
what did I do in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I made beds. I bring food to the patients. I bathed the patients. And if a woman was going to have a baby, I got the woman ready to have the baby.
Okay. You had all kinds of experiences.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. And you did that until...
And then my supervisor told me that I was good and that her and the boss wanted to send me to Austin to get my license, my LVN license.
Mm-hmm.
And that they would pay for the books and they would pay for the license.
And how come you didn't do that?
Because Dad and me was going to get married.
Daddy. Y'all just came along, huh? Well, that's another story. We'll have to get into that story the next time.